Cowboys Nation, we've got to talk. That wasn't just a game. That was a full-blown roller coaster. A heart attack spread over 4 quarters and an overtime that left every fan breathless. Final score, 40-40. A tie. Let that sink in. Not a win, not a loss, just 70 minutes of pure football chaos, ending with us stuck in the middle. But this one was different. This wasn't some fluky back and forth. This was 2 teams in a heavyweight slugfest, and the Dallas Cowboys stood their ground the whole damn way. Let's be real about it. This game had everything. Explosive plays, clock drama, special teams miracles, a near heartbreak, and through it all, the Cowboys showed something we haven't seen in a while. Fight, identity, swagger. And right at the center of it all, Dak Prescott. The man has been catching heat all week long. After the Bears loss, you'd think he was public enemy number 1. People questioning his deal, his leadership, his fire, his future. Well, guess what? Tonight, Dak answered all of it, loud and clear. Over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and more importantly, control. He took the pressure and didn't fold. He stood in the pocket and delivered strikes. He made big plays in big moments. This was one of Dak's most complete performances in the last 2 seasons. If you had doubts, this game should have shut him up. And now let's talk about George Pickens. Man, if you didn't know his name before tonight, now you do. 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a whole lot of attitude. This guy didn't just step up because CD was out. He took over. The chemistry with Dak was on point, the route running was sharp, and when the Cowboys needed a spark, Pickens became the flame. We might have just watched a new WR1 being born right before our eyes. This is what happens when opportunity meets preparation. But we can't ignore the drama either. Final seconds of overtime. Green Bay scrambling like a bad high school team, not even lined up. Clock running down, everyone panicking. And the refs, silent, letting it play, letting it slide. They snapped it with maybe 1 second left, maybe, and threw the ball away just to save time. And instead of a flag or a 10-second runoff like the rules call for, they line up, kick the field goal, and walk away with the tie. What are we doing, NFL? Even Chris Collinsworth was questioning it live on air. Even the opposing fans knew they got lucky. Dak said it felt funny, and he's being polite. That final snap was fishy. It robbed Dallas of a well-earned win, plain and simple. And still, we held our heads up. We didn't quit. No Micah Parsons, no CeeDee Lamb, and still we nearly won this damn thing. Special teams came through huge with a blocked kick that flipped momentum. Defense, despite giving up 40, made stops when it mattered. We bent, yeah, but we didn't break. This team showed more guts tonight than we've seen all season. Let's not forget what this really was, a statement. This was a battle test for a team still finding its identity. And what we saw tonight, that identity is coming into focus. It's about resilience. It's about rising when everyone doubts you. It's about making plays even when the deck's stacked against you. You want character? This team's got it. No, it's not a win, but it damn sure isn't a loss. It's a building block, a wake-up call to the rest of the league that the Cowboys aren't fading away. In fact, we're just getting started. And when we get healthy, when the pieces come back together, when this offense keeps firing like this, we're going to be dangerous, real dangerous. So now I'm throwing it to you, Cowboys Nation. Did you feel that clock drama too? Was that final snap legal? Or did we get jobbed by the refs? And more importantly, is George Pickens the future at WR1? Sound off in the comments. I want to hear everything. Smash that like if you believe in Dak. Hit subscribe if you ride with this squad no matter what. Because here at Dallas Game Day, we speak with the fans, for the fans. We're not backing down. Not now, not ever. Let's ride.